It is a disaster. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. A disaster. A disaster. A disaster. A disaster. This is the disaster, aka Magical Fun Time, on Sound Out Radio with Dr. Ergo Phizmiz and Depresstival. And isn't it a disaster? Isn't everything a disaster? We're in Shipton Abbott still because of the disaster. It's really hot.
I'm agoraphobic.
Yeah, and there's a lot of a lot of wackiness going on, a lot of crazy people out there, a lot of very suspicious behaviour by policemen and so on that we are seeing reported in the news. But when everything is absolute unmitigated disaster, what do you do? I mean, what do? You can do many, many things with your time when everything is a disaster. One of the things you can do is put on a fundraiser concert. Wow, wow, wow. Fundraiser concert. Wow. Yes, the second of our fundraiser concerts for our magnificent Palestinian friends who are currently being starved and bombed for the last 2 years. Intense. The first one took place at the Mirror Imagination Collective sometime last year or earlier this year, I can't remember. And this Sunday night at Ashburton Arts Centre, co-presented with the magnificent Field System Gallery and us, Avant-Hard Collective, is Concert for Palestine. A fundraiser concert where every penny raised will go directly into the pockets of Palestinian people. We, for the last couple of years, have been directly distributing aid, usually made through music sales, directing money to individuals and families in the Gaza Strip. We hope to make a huge amount of money on Sunday night at the Art Centre to, at least try and make some people's lives a little more tolerable. Because don't you feel, that or everything that we have in this culture has ultimately been mined out of some other culture and some other land, and that is the whole system that we operate within. And at the moment I'm feeling really particularly duped, because we were all brought up with the kind of World War II rhetoric, weren't we? And we were really brought up with the idea that the Allies and were the good guys. And I'm not saying the other side in World War II were the good guys, by the way. But what it begins to appear like to me is we've had this complete whitewashing of history where we've forgotten things like the Bengal famine, where 3 million Indian people died because Winston Churchill decided not to let any food in there. And it increasingly appears to me that what we call the Cold War was in fact America having gone, look, we dropped these 2 nuclear bombs, and incidentally they're still the only people.
But also I was just thinking about what we call the Cold War is basically just politicians' behaviour in meetings.
Well, yeah.
Because they're all horrible.
Yeah, but they have... Is it that they all start with these sociopathic personalities, and the colder they get to each other, that gradually becomes war? So war is a matter of personal temperature, as you might say. So yeah, I feel like we've been really, really duped, because it kind of looks like what we call the Cold War was actually America holding the whole world to ransom, which it's been doing ever since. We see that America and the UK, incidentally, are clearly exempt from international law, as are their baby Israel. And to me, this is very troubling because we were brought up to believe all this stuff about truth and justice and
not killing loads of other people.
yeah, there is truth, for sure there is truth, but there is no justice in this world. No justice at all. And the thing that is also really vexing me at the moment is that the political rhetoric of Netanyahu's government, I'm seeing very much mirrored in the behaviour of people in my life. The refutation of reality, the capacity to just not listen and to choose your own version of events, which is the most convenient for you and around your social unit, the most
gaslighting.
Yeah, like there's a lot of gaslighting going on in this culture now, and we all kind of have to stop doing that. We need to speak honestly and directly, otherwise we will never ever get anything done at all. We will never fix or improve anything. And clearly, this is the other thing that I'm saying recently a lot, we are at the point where like it's urgent and something has to give, something has to change. I'm not calling for the R word, art. In fact, I am calling for art. But, you know, clearly on a planet which the system, and only the system, you know, has destroyed in about 100 years. Everything. 70% of life on Earth.
Red squirrels are
on the way out.
Threatened.
Yeah.
Rabbits are all getting hemorrhaging disease that's just wiping out populations across Europe at the moment.
Yeah.
Hedgehogs. And now whenever you look up any animal online, on search engine, the first few hits that you get are about various sort of graphic design companies or brands or whatever that have that are named after the animal, and the animal itself is usually endangered or extinct.
Yeah. Isn't it wonderful? What a wonderful world we live in.
All species of bear, I think, are threatened.
Animals become extinct and then they become a brand, so that's
great.
okay. I wonder how many companies are called Dodo. And what do they sell?
There's
a company called Dodo who goes out of business, though. That would be pretty funny. Would be pretty high end. They were big, those dodos. You seen that one in the Natural History Museum?
Well, they might be bringing loads of these things back with the whole Jurassic Park type.
Yeah. The Dodo.
I can't remember what the company is. It's called, but they were trying to do the woolly mammoth.
They're probably allied with BlackRock.
They were trying to do the woolly mammoth, and then I don't know. I think, I mean, it seems like not a totally terrible idea, but I'm not entirely sure about like plunging something into existence at this particular point when it's long,
it doesn't seem a great idea.
I mean, you know,
plunging
it was
something into existence
now it's got to
so it can burn up in a ball of flame in about 3 years, and deal with
seems a little bit
neoliberalism.
Pointless, really. I don't think it's going to have a very nice time.
Yeah.
Probably why people should sort of like give it a couple of years, and then think about having kids after that.
Yeah. Or a mammoth.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Or a rhea. That's what I'd bring back.
Yeah.
I'd bring back the rhea.
Of course, there's also
the 10-foot bird
thing
that ate people.
You know what I was trying to say is like sort of like a motivating slogan to try and get people to sort of stop burning the planet. It was like, well, you know, if you keep burning the planet, then everything's going to change, and then you're going to get like deer and like, you know, sort of like alligators and like snakes and stuff are going to end up sort of like being in the towns, and then like, do you want snakes everywhere? And that's also going to apply with the mammoth
snakes
as well.
No, alligators,
well,
yes.
I personally am fine with like snakes and that being more sort of visible.
I mean, I love snakes. I love snakes, but they're kind of sneaky, aren't they? They can get into kind of any alcove, any gap.
I think that's just them having a desire for comfort.
Well, it is. But then, if they want to bite you in a really sensitive bit of your ankle and pump that venom into you, they can do that very easily. The benefit of an alligator is that you know where it is. They're not that good at hiding.
But still,
if there was an alligator in this room now, there would be...
There's a crow in this room.
There was indeed. We're in the same room where we were a few weeks ago.
A few days ago.
When the...
time's very
strange.
Confusing at the moment.
When all the jackdaws were coming to the window.
Despair.
And they continue to come to the window, but there's many jackdaws, but there is just the one crow. He's a very little,
He's a bear
crow. He's very small.
He's a nice
and
flat head.
He has a very flat head. And the other day, Lottie said, "Well, Mr. Crow, why don't you come in?" And forthwith he did. He hopped in, landed on the metal bit on the side of a chair, stood there for a little bit, and then flew around the room, which was astonishing. I've never seen a crow flying around inside. It was quite an image. The guinea pigs were a little bit vexed.
I think
indoors.
I think it was a rook, or it might have been a raven.
But didn't you tell me earlier that ravens have a 1.5 meter wingspan?
I mean, it was pretty big.
But that would be
huge.
But that would be a big room to if that raven.
It was a big room.
Right.
No, it wasn't. It can't have been a raven.
No.
It must have been a rook.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah. Because I've had a herring gull come through a Velux window and trash the room I was in while I cowered away from everything that was breaking. And imagine that being an albatross.
I mean, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be great.
But yeah, the crow in here. I mean, that's.
Yeah, then he went boof into the window, slapped himself down on the floor, got up, dusted himself off, flew into the window again, and then flew off. And we went, "Oh dear, I hope he's okay." And indeed he was, because he was back the next day eating his favourite thing, which is, you know what? Tell me what?
Suet.
Suet is his favourite thing. And jackdaws too. They love suet. So, that's also what we call guinea pigs. Suets, because they're little suet fat balls. So, Sunday night, Ashburton Arts Centre, which we heard somebody say recently is one of the best arts venues outside of London, and by its programme, it genuinely is. They had the brilliant Palestinian singer Zaid Hilal there recently, who we were fortunate enough to spend some time with. Did we already talk about this on the radio?
No.
But it was very, very wonderful. Oh yeah, Bob Ross guested last week. Well, yeah, we went to meet with Zaid Halal and Raji. I can't remember Raji's surname. And the two other guys that were playing with, one of whom stayed at our house the night afterwards and had a wonderful time, had a wonderful party with us. But we met with Zaid and Raji, and it turned out that Raji is the teacher of Sami Madoun. And if you don't know who Sami Madoun is, you have to find out. Sami Madoun released the two most important albums of the 21st century, Oud Music from Gaza and Oud Music from Gaza Volume 2, which only came out recently. And what do you know? Because no other labels would do it, I did multiple call-outs on the internet, beseeching labels to cut this stuff to a physical format. Because the reason that we must do this is that this is about preserving, it's about preservation. We have to preserve this work. And I very strongly feel that nothing is safe in a digital format. And this is proven by, let me see, the disappearance of lots of Palestinian classical music from the streaming services over the last few years, the work of people like Fadi Deeb and so on. So, we have to preserve the work of Sami Madoun, these incredible albums, in a physical format. So, we've created a cassette which will start shipping out on August the 1st, of Oud Music from Gaza Volume 1, which is available at ergophizmizmusic.bandcamp.com. It is a lovely turquoise cassette and a lovely pink, deep pink outer casing. And we've designed some wonderful artwork with many, many images of the maestro Madoun. And basically the idea of this is you make a cassette release of this, and then this document of Sami's work is in many, many people's houses ultimately over the world as a physical format, because digital preservation is no preservation at all. What about the solar flare, huh? When the solar flare comes, what are your hard drives going to do? What's the internet going to do?
Well, everyone's got a Faraday cage.
Exactly. Although Hugh Grant has a Faraday cage.
Oh yeah, and he does in that film.
He does in the Mormon movie,
which isn't really not very good.
No, it isn't. It isn't very good. And it's not often I watch new things, but my sister told me to watch it because it's about Mormonism. And when I was well, it's not really about Mormonism, is it? But when I was a child, my parents thought it was an absolutely brilliant idea to join the Mormon Church, and so I was interested in this film about Mormonism, but it didn't have much about Mormonism in it. But he did have a Faraday cage around his house, which kind of gave away what was going to happen in the rest of the film.
Like that thing Pinter says. What is it? The thing about the gun?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it Pinter?
I'm not.
If you reveal a gun in the first bit of the play, it's got to go off by the end.
Right.
So if you say, I hope you don't mind that my house is inside a Faraday cage at the beginning of the film, that
is going to insinuate
that sort
something.
of insinuates that the rest of it's going to be a descent into just really grotesque, fetishism of violence.
Yeah, well, film reviews are really, really commercial radio, and we've been talking we should do some film reviews because, everyone does it. It's good. It's populist. It'll gain us listeners and following and disciples and apostles.
Yeah. But I think you're supposed to like things, and I really don't like much stuff.
Oh, there's loads
terrible.
of things. There's loads of things I adore, but not a terrible amount that's made now, I must say. But we've seen some very interesting things, and I've had a window into the culture of the slight generation younger than me that Lottie is from. So because Lottie was the girlfriend of one of my students many years ago. And I forgot what I was talking about.
You've had a rare glimpse into
so like Buffy, Angel, and so on, and so
yours.
Yes, and so what I would like to talk about now is the wonderful franchise, the wonderful franchise of movies called The Twilight Saga. And
oh right, I thought you were going to talk about
Sinister One. Well, no, I mean that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Oh, it's amazing.
But the I don't really know what's going on because sometimes
there's so many
paying half attention.
So many memories through both franchises.
Yeah,
quality.
I know that in the world of Twilight, vampires.
Little David.
Yeah, Little David Boreanaz. a.k.a. James Pattinson, little David Boreanaz.
Robert Pattinson.
Oh, what did I say?
James.
James. Who's James? I was thinking of James from Twin Peaks. So, in that one,
How about this, James?
vampires...
Yeah, take that off, Con.
They can go outside during the day,
Yeah,
but
they
they look like they're wearing
shiny.
glitter. Which is fine, you know. I mean, if you went out and you were shiny, people would just think
Like
you were
divine.
really glamorous. Yeah, precisely. But I have because people talk about, what was your film guys? Film guys talk about, what was the bit of the movie that you rated the most? What did you rate the most? What was your top scene? And I can tell you that my top scene in the whole Twilight franchise, 27 films or whatever it is, my favourite scene, it's not the bit where the girl screams and screams and screams for about a year. No.
I love that bit.
Well, that bit,
Breakdown's
I
amazing.
admit it's quality and I rate it. But that's my film guy voice, by the way. My favourite scene is the iconic breakfast scene, which is
There's just so many,
I wasn't
so many
fully
moments
aware of the context, but I saw the breakfast scene, and it's basically a load of like young, attractive goth people having like eggs and bacon with some naked guys. Who are like just sat at the
so many
table in
naked
their
guys.
underpants,
Yeah,
and then
because
these
they
guys walk around naked all the time.
They're all
Why are
naked.
they always naked?
Because they turn into like a dog thing, don't they? But they can still wear shorts, so I don't understand why
They just go through shorts, go through
why they
loads
got
and loads of shorts.
their shirts off all the time.
Yeah.
They go through all the shorts, but
Yeah.
they're gonna break clothes anyway, so you may as well not be naked.
Well,
It's very intimidating.
You know
sitting
what I
around
would
with a
do?
group of like, where if I was having breakfast and there's about sort of 7 naked men,
I couldn't digest.
I'd find it difficult.
There would be just this odour.
Smell of
It wouldn't be good.
flesh.
Yeah, it would not be good.
Is that commercial enough?
Yeah, that's really commercial.
Because everyone keeps telling me I need to do more to. Because it's all my fault that I'm too weird, apparently. So I've got to do more to be commercial. So is this good? But
This is really commercial.
I don't
Film
think
reviews.
you're supposed to. No, I think they want to say. I think you're supposed to say, "Oh yeah, the CG was good."
Well, say I rated.
You're not supposed to talk about
I
the
rated
men who are naked at the table.
the naked men. The CG was really bad.
That's always bad, isn't it?
But I just had a thought that if I was a werewolf, right, and I expanded into a canine form, because these are like giant CG werewolves that they turn into. If I was a werewolf, I would simply wear like spandex or lycra, a stretchable material, and imagine how great a dog would look in like leggings.
I mean, they do look really good in boots, don't they?
They look great in boots.
They look great in boots.
Here,
I want to see more of them with those little booties.
We saw recently a dog wearing little booties. Where was that?
I can't
I
remember.
won't talk about the other dog we
I've
saw.
seen it quite a lot. Actually, the booties.
No, but I feel like in the last few days we saw a dog wearing little booties somewhere.
I'm not sure. I think it's.
Maybe it was a dream. I am finding it a little difficult to differentiate between dream and reality sometimes at the moment. But that's because reality is it's so weird and horrendous and confusing. Are you finding reality weird and horrendous and confusing? Well, I've got advice for you. If you find reality weird and confusing, go outside and chase after somebody. And when you catch up with them, say, "Do you find reality weird, confusing, vexing, horrendous, horrible?" And they'll say, "Yes, I do." and then you will have made a friend.
I did make a friend like that, actually.
You did
there
make
was
a friend
girl
like that.
I was up in, like, I'm allowed to say Clifton, right? But we've already said Bristol, so but I was sat there, and I think I was crying slightly, as I do in public sometimes, because nothing matters. And she stopped and said, "Are you okay?" And then I said, "I'm not enjoying the apocalypse too much." And then we had a nice chat about how horrible everyone is, and how you shouldn't murder loads of people.
Yeah.
And she said she found it really bizarre that no one seems to mind about that either.
No. No. What I find most
like in the old days,
strange, yeah.
You thought.
What I find most
it's always been
bizarre.
History of violence, isn't it?
Yeah, but what we live in now, I just feel like we were brought up with the World War II rhetoric, and part of the World War II rhetoric was that the Holocaust was this total aberration, like a stain on the human spirit. Well, my question is, if Hitler's Holocaust was a stain on the human spirit, Hitler's Holocaust was hidden away. So this Holocaust is public and is ignored by most of the press. It isn't on the front pages.
No, not at all.
No. It's not. I mean, it's unless you follow it and you interact with Palestinian people, you do not know what is happening. Unless you talk to people who are there, you do not know what is happening. And actually, you probably can't even pass an opinion.
Well, the thing I don't understand is everybody sort of seems to have lost sight of the fact that there aren't any outside press allowed in, and that's been the situation from the beginning, hasn't it? So why that seems to be something that people have just moved on from, and I'm not entirely sure. And
I don't get it.
All the murdering of journalists and aid workers and so on seems doctors and.
Yes, what's with the acceptance, guys?
Apparently, and the thing I keep thinking, because we keep getting told to shut up about all of this by people around us who, which is kind of very interesting. I've been thinking about the whole kind of throughout the history of horror films. There is like a trope that you see if somebody sees like the worst thing, like I don't know, like in Event Horizon, for instance. They're in space and there's like an evil spaceship or whatever, and it has a portal to hell, and there's a guy in it who goes through the portal to hell and sees all this like mutilation and horrible violence and everything like that, and then he comes back and then he's so messed up by it that he throws himself into deep space, and because he's seen this horrible sort of
seen what hell
Dante-esque horrible mutilation and violence, and I've seen that trope throughout a lot of films, or like somebody sees something, the like part of the whole thing that people can kind of end up with PTSD just from being an observer of stuff. But basically what I'm trying to say is that like we previously had this idea that was a thing that would make your that seeing extreme violence would mess people up. And now people are seeing extreme violence all the time, and everyone's just like, oh well, why are you talking about it? Just turn it off. What's the problem? Well, I don't understand why you care. I cannot get my head around it. So this whole idea of like this kind of separation, saying, oh, it's over there, it doesn't affect me and everything. But it's like, are you not feeling slightly affected by the fact that this is where society is now in that part of the world? But obviously that's being normalised and seen as like everybody's. We're in the situation we're in, and that doesn't really see. I don't understand how you can continue to live your life sort of like, la la la, everything's fine, if that's the society that we have it and it's happening in part of the world that you inhabit.
Yeah,
so it affects you. You're affected. You're connected to it. It only takes like 4 hours to get there on a plane. So like, you know, it's next door. Like, takes me longer to get back to where I grew up than it would for me to get a plane to that part of the world. Yeah. So it just seems completely crazy to be living in complete globalization, and where everybody's connected or whatever, and everybody travels all the time and sort of like talks to people in other countries on the internet and has stuff to do with each other, and to be living in this thing where we're more globalized and more in connection and can get around the world quicker than ever before, but people seem more and more just completely disinterested in each other's welfare than ever before, I think.
Yeah. Well, another interesting thing relating to that is some of the trash films that we watched recently, which have been, I'll go back to my film guy voice, across various genres. Genre, that's how Mark Coleman says it. But each of these, like 3 or 4 films, all sort of devolved into what they call torture porn. And it seems to me that there's a cultural fascination with watching people get hurt.
Yeah.
And what vexes me about this greatly is people think they're kind of pushing the boundaries by showing kind of really horrendous violence.
The weird thing I noticed about all these really violent films,
pushing the boundaries.
The weird thing I noticed about all these really violent films is because for the past week I've just been watching stuff just because of like various issues that of people of sort of like just what really looks like bullying from blah blah blah. So I'm just watching films because it's and the thing I notice is that I can never remember them because none of them are very good and they have no storyline.
You're not going to forget Sinister 2 though in a rush hour.
Well, I've already forgotten most of it, but it's like
how can you forget Sinister 2?
Beige, and the thing is,
it was like the Omen crossed with Oliver.
Yeah, it was like Oliver actually, with Gene Simmons and violence.
Oh yeah, Gene Simmons from Kiss was the villain.
Very good, and then they had. I'll come back to the drone music in a minute, but and all these films that are terrible. Like I think I watched one with like Florence Pugh, and she was a ghost hunter or something. And then everybody was getting sort of mutilated at the end. And it's just, you kind of forget what they're about because they're terrible, and so then it means that everybody just gets this kind of like vague mishmash of really violent imagery just sort of going into the subconscious, and because none of it has a storyline, and it's just lots and lots of images of violence. I'm sure it's probably not a great thing and is maybe contributing to everybody's total acceptance of massive violence.
Yeah, the film director
so
John Cassavetes
it's like persuading people to do it, more that it's making people completely dissociated, and it's just going in this big kind of sort of horrible orgiastic kind of state of like, whilst that's all happening in real life and also happening in like fictional depictions, I just don't. And you know, I mean, people are pretty horrible now. It's sort of like, I think maybe all this like phone stuff has really got something to do with it.
Yeah, the Palestine thing is like, a couple of people I've had this conversation with, it's kind of like Judgment Day. You can see which people care about other people and which people don't. And so if you care about other people, come along to our dance party at Ashburton Arts Centre. There will, on Sunday night, there will be experimental music, but there will also be popular music. The night will be emceed by us two delightful little spring chickens. You can see my wonderful new hairstyle. And performers, we have Claude Lecrep, Hilda Calab, Totnes Buskers for Palestine, and Shakalaka. I'm not familiar with Shakalaka, but basically I've heard that they do a very good dance party. And basically we're all going to get together and have a right old knees up for love, for compassion, for empathy, and we're going to raise as much money as possible that the next morning we can put directly into the pockets of starving people. Come along and give generously. It will be a great night, and you'll get to see us in the flesh, and you will find out that our languorous, luxurious voices are also flanked by an unforgettable physical beauty. Yeah, well, you know, you can make up your mind when you come to the show. Ashburton Arts Centre, co-presented with Field System, who have done up their gallery. Oh, they've been closed for a week. They've been restoring it. It looks goth as hell.
It is well gothic.
It looks really goth, which is a good thing. We need more gothness.
Yeah.
You know,
this is contrary to sort of like you also don't have to wear black. You can wear a lot of neon and still be goth.
neon goth, sure. Like neon is the most satanic.
It's even more intimidating, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, you heard it here. Get your neon on and be a goth. Field System's looking great. Go and have a look at it. And then come along to Ashburton Arts Centre. We are emceeing, and I will be performing various vaudevillian little turns as the evening progresses. I am going to show you here in South Devon, right on Dartmoor, I'm going to show you the kind of music that the people with beards go and listen to at Cafe Otto in London. I'm going to demonstrate how the big city people with the beards, how they consume their music. So that will be wonderful. And there is also going to be at this event a very wonderful thing called the Palestine Stereoscope Project, which is a wonderful set. Right now, one set with some accoutrements and another set that are currently being scanned and sent towards us. We are starting to collect and to display and permit people to interact with stereoscopic images. And the wonderful Tom Wood from Tom Wood's Antiques, the Den of Antiquity in Ashburton, has let us borrow his stereoscope viewer for the event, so you can come and be amazed to look at these stereoscopes of Palestine from about 1890 to 1910. They are remarkable images. Zaid Hilal looked through one the other day and said, this is right near my house, which was wonderful. And I don't know, have you ever looked at a stereoscopic image? I hadn't. I'd seen stereoscopes. I'd never looked through a stereoscope viewer, and they are astonishing. The sense of depth in them is astonishing. And I've really reached the conclusion that the home entertainments that we have now suck compared to the home entertainments the Victorians had. Magic lanterns are absolutely wonderful things, crisp and dense and just rich. And stereoscopes are they are not. It is not a time-based entertainment in the same way that the time-based entertainment that we have now. But they are a time-based entertainment in the sense that you want to spend time with them. You want to spend time with your eyes. Really, they are like a window into a world, and your eyes are able to really fully explore in details these landscapes. My favourite one, has some three-dimensional gun smoke on it. Just astonishing. And I don't know how they work. I don't know how. I need to find out, but I don't know how they work. They're completely remarkable. But I don't know. I mean, but there's the two images next to each other, and then you look through the stereoscope viewer, and it becomes three-dimensional, so there must be slight differences between the two images in terms of accentuation of lines or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, absolutely wonderful. If you're interested in all this kind of thing, you could do worse than go on YouTube and watch a film called Film Before Film by Werner Neckes, which is full of all sorts of wonderful things from his collection. Phenakistoscopes, which were the... in fact, we have some little images on discs, and you have to look through the slit into a mirror to watch the animation working, and which led to the zoetrope, and here we are now with terrible CG movies and wolves and naked men at the table.
And if you're an actor, you get to basically sit in the green room.
Yeah.
For the whole thing.
Yeah, actors have the wonderful
so they have the green
to sit
room,
in a
and
green
then they've
room.
got the green room.
That's true. They go from green room to green
I've always
room.
found the green rooms were sort of more like a sort of mint.
They are mint.
Mint a lot of the time.
They are mint. Well, that makes it more appealing. Go to the mint room.
The mint room.
Yeah. If I went to a theatre and we were putting something on, and they said, "Come backstage to our mint room," my God, I would feel like a human after 8. That would be wonderful. Lottie is about to boil the kettle, so you are going to hear the sound of our kettle boiling, and it's really quite close to the microphone, so this could be
immersive.
Some really quite exciting immersive entertainment for you. It might also be ASMR, which Bob Ross invented.
Immersive asthma.
As you found out last week.
You were talking about shits and other.
No.
All right. That's behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
See.
But yeah, we are here in the town of Shipton Abbot, where we live. We live in a beautiful house in Shipton Abbot, where the crows and the jackdaws come, and the pigeons. We've got a pigeon called Samuel and a pigeon called Steptoe, and it's very beautiful here in Shipton, up on the moor, and very, very, very eventful. You wouldn't think it for a small place, but there's a lot of crime here that needs to be investigated and solved.
Yeah, right next to. Is it called Shipmore? The moor.
Shipmore.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Shipmore.
Yeah. And it's lovely. There's Dalmori's chocolatier here. Which does really the most superb chocolates, but it is a slightly dangerous place to live, and you do have to be slightly on your toes. For a small town, there's a lot of murder goes on.
It's like Twin Peaks.
Just like Twin Peaks. And,
but not as interesting.
A lot of Devon looks a lot like Twin Peaks, doesn't it? It could pass for that kind of that part of...
The music's really not as good.
No, but they can work on it. If you need around here, I think what Devon needs is more synthesizers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just sort of around.
Some sort of better interiors would be good. A bit more with the drapes and that, and some bit less. I don't know, a bit less sort of hoarding and bunting, a bit more kind of like sort of
Bauhaus,
grimy sort of punk stuff.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, the grimy thing reminds... I'm quite enjoying the lack of grime.
Well, no, I mean, I don't mean like modern sort of Bristol type grime. Right. I mean like sort of, like metal bands.
Oh, so yeah, what you're saying is basically...
Not like bags of sort of rotting, like dog excretion in the woods.
What you're saying is that we need a culture again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some bands and stuff like that. We don't have a culture because everybody's been sold on the idea that the only way to work as a musician is to put your music on this big military industrial thing called Spotify. And I don't know whether you saw, dear listener, but the CEO of Spotify became the CEO of a massive AI military company now.
And did you know that you aren't eligible to enter any sort of music related
unless it's on Spotify?
Unless it's on Spotify. And
yes.
If it's not on Spotify, it's not actually technically counted as released.
Yeah, interesting. So my suggestion is to reject completely all of this, and then we'll end up with a culture again. If people stop going on, putting music on Spotify, stop aspiring to Spotify, making CDs and tapes and lathe cuts, and making their own, making T-shirts and in merch and putting on gigs in book rooms above pubs, book church community centres, book church halls, Freemason halls. Use the possible public spaces to regenerate a culture, because we can actually do that. And don't make art for the reason that you want it to be globally successful, because this has never been a requirement of an artist to have an audience of millions and millions of people. It's fine to entertain 50 people, 100 people, 20 people. We opened my show, The Morning Show, in Nijmegen to an audience of 1. And he liked it!
I played great gigs to because, I used to go to do Edinburgh Fringe stuff quite a bit, and but as a musician, not as one of these people who has to monetize humour for their job, which makes it not funny. But yeah, so I used to go up and do it, and I'd always have a great time, even though I was playing for 2 people and stuff. But a lot of other people, comedians, would be like, if they had 7 people, that wasn't enough, and they'd pull the show. It's wow, you're really not going to be able to handle much in life.
The real stupid thing about that is that's how you become good. That's how you discover new interesting things. I remember I did a great gig once at 333 in Shoreditch,
and there was no one there. And it was just me and the bloke I was with at the time, and then my friend who knew him, and the barwoman, and that was it. And then he needed the toilet, so I had to stop the show and wait for him to come back. It was great. It was really fun, and you miss out on all that sort of the kind of really weird bits of performing that you don't get unless you're also willing to play anywhere. Yeah, precisely. And I thought that was what everyone wanted to do. I always played anywhere. I always said yes to a gig until I got too ill to be able to leave the house. But I never, ever missed a gig. No. It was a total verbal contract for me, and never pulled out of one, ever. But playing to a small audience or a difficult audience is how you learn. They used to say that all comedians had to go through the Glasgow Empire because they were the harshest audience. Everybody died on stage. If you could play there, you could play anywhere. Yeah. And now... But it's also part of the fun of performing. It's not fun to go out and do really sterile big arena shows, I expect, for us. It's just doing that. That's why most bands, you don't really hear of most big bands doing that much, because it's a real pain, and it costs a lot of money, and you don't really get to do anything. You don't interact with people. You probably play the show, and then you probably go back to a hotel. I bet you they get a mint room. Yeah, they probably do, and they probably find it really boring. But I expect they go and play the show, and then they go back to the hotel, and everyone would have, when they were smaller musicians, they would have all been probably out drinking and having fun and sort of hanging out with people that they'd never met. Whenever I used to go on tour, the thing I liked about it was staying around people's houses and learning about... Meeting people. Yeah, meeting people, going to places like the Czech Republic and then being given a crash course in sort of history of that particular bit of the Czech Republic, and finding out about weird soap operas and all this other stuff. I expect if you're a big major, I don't know, someone like Queens of the Stone Age, they probably can't really have fun anymore because they're running a organisation when they go on tour. Yeah. But I just think it sucks. I hate this thing. There's no all ages shows anymore. The whole thing that Fugazi and everyone were going on about, which all the sort of DIY stuff and everything. And a big point of that was having all ages shows that went on in church halls, and there wasn't any booze there or anything, so that was like why they allowed them to happen.
Because it's not about...
But that meant that you didn't have to get frisked by security, and it was and it was like a kind of self-regulating space, because there wasn't a huge amount of alcohol being peddled. So people tended to just go out literally to watch the music, not to go out and like do what everyone does now, which seems to consist mainly of rolling around on the floor, punching each other in the face, and taking photos of themselves and putting it on the internet.
Yeah. And have you tried ever, like, say, for example, like you like to go to, you've been to quite a lot of classical music concerts. You've seen The Rite of Spring a few times. And
15 times.
Yeah, and you've spoke to me in great detail about different performances of the Rite of Spring and so on. So you obviously perceived and soaked in this music. Could you have perceived and soaked in this music if you were rolling around on the floor and punching yourself and screaming?
Oh yes, much better, I think.
Oh yeah?
with that piece, yeah.
Okay, but say that you were going to a Brahms symphony.
Well, I don't know. I don't really like symphonic music, so...
No, I don't.
I'm more into concertos, and
No.
I don't like symphonies. I like the one that Shostakovich did, where he was doing a thing about Stalin, and then it went... I thought that one was really great.
Was that the phrase that we heard?
No, that's from the first... What?
When we were working at the Maggio Musicale in Florence, and there was a huge scandal because I can say all this, it was in the news. Alexander Pereira,
I told the dude on piggyback to look it up.
The head of the Maggio had embezzled $35 million at the euros
on specialty meats, and furniture,
and so on, and. On the day when it happened, the morning we were working on the production as designers, and the morning was fine, rehearsal was fine, lovely atmosphere. We got in after lunch break because in Italy people actually
are allowed to eat.
They're allowed to eat. And the atmosphere, you could cut it with a knife. It had changed. Everyone was devastated, and we were like, what's happened? And someone had left a post-it note on the wall saying, due to Alexander Pereira embezzling 35 million euros, none of you are getting paid anymore for the foreseeable future. And well, the point of it was that the orchestra in the warming up began to play particular phrases from Shostakovich. So that was a little bit of orchestral radicalism, and the next day the orchestra were out on the street protesting, and they all got paid.
Oh, and it was good, and I said I really hope that all the opera singers go out and like sing "We will not be moved" or whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Giant. They didn't do that though, disappointingly.
But it'd be great. Everyone needs to have more fun. With the protesting and their lives.
It was Finkelstein. Norman Finkelstein said recently, "I don't want any part of your revolution if you can't laugh."
Yeah, everybody's way too serious now about it.
About the wrong thing.
Serious, but
you can be serious about the wrong thing.
You gotta really just everyone's got to lighten up a bit. People are just horrible.
People are very serious about their cars.
On all sides of the political spectrum, although most of them both seem to be sort of either on the very far one way or in slightly one side of the centre, and then there's nothing else.
If you're serious about things like the sanctity of life,
or you're ridiculed and laughed at,
pariah.
But for some reason we should all talk about something a celebrity said that's horrible.
We should talk about some completely uninteresting things some vacuous person said is famous for no reason at all.
It's not going to have any bearing on like the wider sort of like human rights issues and ecocide issues, is it? And sort of just the net level of suffering afflicting everything. And I just kind of think. A bit narcissistic. We should sort of
disaster.
Massive amounts of suffering, and then more where people are sort of, dying.
Yeah. It's, it's very hard to exist in this society at the moment. But that leads me to another thing that we've been talking about recently. And I'll actually begin it with another thought that I walked past a chubby little, obviously autistic, outcast, bullied boy the other day. And he had, of course, dark, intense eyes and walked with no confidence. And I really wanted to stop this kid and say, hey kid, by the time you're 45, all the girls will want you. You'll be really hot when you're 45. But, I didn't do that because, I might have looked a bit Operation YouTube. so I didn't. Which leads me to the other thing I was going to say, which I'm going to have to backtrack because I don't know what it was now. What
about trying to give people a pep talk for
trying to
make them feel better when they're older.
Oh yeah, it's the thing about. Oh my goodness, it has left my mind. It's the thing about. It's something wonderful about. It's something wonderful about autism. I can't remember what it was.
People looking like they're being bullied because of it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not something wonderful about autism. It is an essay by Antonin Artaud about Vincent van Gogh. And you're not allowed to say the word, are you, on radio? I don't know.
Unalive.
Yeah, do you have to say that?
I think we've got to use euphemisms for the word, even though the euphemism is still
the same thing.
Actually more direct about
what
the thing is than the description.
Okay, well I'm going to say because it's nonsense. The essay by Artaud is called Van Gogh, the man suicided by society. And what this essay is basically saying is that Van Gogh and people like him, i.e. intelligent, sensitive, inventive, brilliant people who inevitably end up outsiders to the system, because the majority of people apparently are not brilliant, sensitive, inventive, beautiful and marvellous. And that faction of society attacks Vincent, attacks, then Van Gogh's ear, attacks, and then he painted the Field of Crows and was gone. This miraculous man who only sold one painting in his life. And these things. This thing cuts across history. There are many people. Antonin Artaud himself.
Mozart died in a pauper's grave.
Yes, precisely.
Vivaldi.
Yeah. So perhaps this is a serious issue.
Vivaldi desperately chased commissions, and then he got one, and then he moved to, I think, maybe Vienna. But the bloke who hired him died, and he died in poverty.
Yeah.
Who else?
So what? But then why also do we have this sort of cliche of? Oh well, their work will be remembered after they're gone.
But that doesn't make any difference if they're starving to death.
But why do we have this cliche of people saying the work will be remembered after it's gone? It's like, why not just
be nice to people?
No,
actually
why not just
musicians?
sort of buck that trend a bit and go well let's look at brilliant, interesting people while they're alive. Yeah, this sounds like I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about all of the interesting, brilliant, sensitive, empathetic, compassionate,
inventive,
thoughtful, competent, marvellous people that I know, all of whom, to some degree or another, get given a really, really, really hard time by this society. And the older I get, I cannot be apologetic about this, that people who are numpties are, on a large social scale, belittling people who are very much not numpties.
And it is a pattern.
Yes,
and
it is a pattern.
And,
yes.
and the thing is, like, every time I talk about this, I get accused of being, oh, you're being paranoid, you're being sensitive. But every single, for instance, autistic person that I meet experiences the same thing. And, like, what we've all got together and made it up, have we got our story straight? Yeah.
But it also
true,
has social, it has class elements.
Yes,
as
it
well.
Really does.
Because if you are one of these brilliant, marvelous, wonderful, inventive, compassionate, empathetic people, and you are born into a status of comfortable social position,
somewhere to live,
you'll be fast tracked to university. You'll be called brilliant. You'll end up doing goodness knows what.
And stuff.
But if you are a poor child, and I'm fairly sure there will be some parents who will hear this show who will identify, yes, my child is absolutely brilliant, but because we've got no money, nobody will pay them any attention.
And most of the time, a lot of the time, if you're a poor kid who's really smart and sensitive and stuff, you cannot go to mainstream school because everybody else will attack you all the time. I found out an interesting thing about, that was me. I had to get pulled out of school. I didn't go to school. I homeschooled myself eventually because it was just so unpleasant being out there, and basically the bullying started then and never really went away, except I'm a little more angry about it now.
You just don't accept it now.
Well, I just don't accept it now. It still depresses me.
Anyone listening who gets this kind of bullying,
you just got to say no. Just
start saying no.
Don't allow passive aggressive stuff.
Make this turning point in your life now and just refuse.
No, because all of these people who are like bullying everyone who's competent is basically like incompetent, and then the whole society is failing just because of mass incompetence everywhere. And yes, obviously because nothing's being funded properly, but a lot of the behaviour that I see when I'm out in things which people would blame on sort of like funding and stuff is actually just people choosing to be horrible, which doesn't require money to stop, does it?
But it's unique, it's new.
Yeah, it's new, and it's every interaction I have.
If people were like this during World War II, then there wouldn't be that fabled blitz.
Exactly. Where would that have been? Like, if we had a situation like that break out here now, everybody hates each other. How would they deal with it? Everyone hates it. I mean, we have got a situation like that breaking out now, in that we're in climate disaster and everybody hates each other. Yeah. And all I hear is like people that I know just judging me, and it's sort of like, most of the time I'm just sort of like sat sort of trying to do admin, and that's basically what I do, and trying to play the piano, trying to make stuff a little bit more
we except for when we go out into the public sphere to do events and so on, we have a very private existence.
But that's not come because of like not wanting to talk to people. That's come from like being basically completely ostracised and attacked at every single social juncture. Like thinking people are my friends, always thinking that people are my friends, and then it turns out that they just hate my guts. Yeah. And then I find out that they've all been slagging me off.
Yeah. But it's the new social thing. I think everybody hates each other.
Other new social thing that I've noticed as well, which is really, really bizarre, which is like younger women who are like Gen Z or something. I've noticed this thing where a lot of the time, I get them looking at me like they really hate me, and that's a new thing because of this stupid consumer market research guy in Australia who came up with all this is Gen Z, this is Gen X, Gen X was already thinking this is millennials and this is blah blah blah, and like it's all just made up. It's completely made up. And what it's served the purpose of doing is made it so that everybody who's 5 years apart in age demographics hates everyone else, and it's all like, how is this a new form of discrimination that we've invented? And I've noticed this thing of like, I never had that before. I never noticed that before. Of like younger women who are like 14, 15, up to about 18 or whatever, or 25, looking at me in this weird hatred, competitive way, which isn't what happened when I was growing up. When I was growing up, women looked up to older women, and older women helped younger women, and also like up until a little bit below my age group. So like my sister's generation, she's about 5 or 6 years younger than me, they don't all hate me. It's everyone who's under that age hates everyone else, like, because they've all been told to hate each other. It's such a waste of time, and it is really not good for humanity to be like this at the moment. We need to be collaborating because we are really in some deep trouble.
Yeah, the desire to market things in people has segregated absolutely everybody, and I think, you know, like this thing now, everybody is putting their gender orientation, everybody's putting their sexuality. I don't think you should be telling them this stuff, you know, like they're only, you know, the trend to write this stuff has been created so they can direct advertising.
Yeah, we shouldn't be telling.
We shouldn't tell them about. We shouldn't
be giving these people ways of ways of using us to make money. Like there's a whole thing of like, you know, if
these are the enemy.
We are the commodity in this situation.
Yes.
When you're putting your stuff online, you are turning yourself into a commodity for someone else to sell.
And if you're like an artist, if you do that kind of thing anyway, then, you know, there's kind of no difference to, you know, I released a music video today and it also went on social networks. I hate using the social networks, but and I didn't use them for a long time, and I went back to using them when this Holocaust started, because I couldn't think of any other way to communicate with people. And I knew that I wasn't going to sit and do nothing about it, because I remember that A-level history class where they showed us the videos of the Holocaust, and I said to myself then, if something like this happens again, then I'm going to try and do whatever I can about it. And people have been critical of us, saying like, oh, you think you're going to change the world, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, that's not the point. We're not changing the world. What we are doing is we've been helping
holding some standards.
Yeah, but we've been just helping bring some water, helping provide some food. That's it, you know? And if everybody did that, then Palestine will be the richest country in the world. And I wanted to add, further to what you were just saying, Lottie, about the prevalent personality that seems to dominate in this country now, of like snide,
passive aggressive,
backbiting,
everywhere passive aggressive.
Yeah, passive aggressive.
Oh
well,
my God.
I can
everywhere. I can't cope with it anymore. Please stop doing it. If you're one of these people that does it, don't stare at people like you hate them for no reason. Think about maybe what's making you feel so hostile, and that it might actually be something to do with you, probably, and don't project it onto everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've moved into this area fairly recently, and it's already started happening to me. And this is why I don't get involved in social groups, like, anymore. And there was that thing George Carlin said, anytime there's more than 2 people, it's a disaster.
Yeah, that's true, except the Bee Gees. 3. Three's a crowd, unless it's the Bee Gees. The brothers Gibb, with their wonderful falsetto. My falsetto's got quite a lot stronger.
It's just this thing of like, there was this whole rhetoric over the last few years of everyone saying, we all have mental health, and check in your friends. And it's like, oh, what really? As if anyone, like, judging from their behaviour now, as if anyone believed what they were saying.
The major cultural problem is virtue signaling. It's
virtue signaling. Like what they mean by this, like, check in on your friends, we all have mental health. Well, that basically seems to usually just apply to sort of like some light kind of ennui, and doesn't apply to people who've got more kind of like intense problems in that regard, like, for instance, psychosis or like dissociative seizures or whatever. Like, many of which I tend to have had experience of in the past. But the thing I notice about all of this is like, oh yeah, we're all so supportive, everybody loves each other and be kind. Like living in Bristol, it's just this constant, oh be kind, and then like, you know, that's the only place I've ever lived where I've been spat on in the street.
Yeah, the be kind thing
it's
is
just not
so
true.
aggressive.
What they mean
aggressive.
is uphold the status quo, don't criticise anything.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't criticise anything, you're never going to actually get anything changed so it works even remotely functionally. So you need people to criticise things because then nothing works. That's how you improve scenarios, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm quite unfortunate.
I can't remember what I was saying, but it's just it's the mental health thing. Like people, it just. Oh, I don't know. I need to stop talking.
Well, I know quite a lot of stupid people, right? I know quite a lot of really stupid people, and I think that the stupidest thing going around is that this idea that all experience can be divided into a positive and a negative experience. And usually what's going on with the be kind movement is the be kind is a very aggressive way of, a very passive aggressive way of telling people basically to shut up. If the person is angry about something. And goodness gracious me, being angry is not always a negative thing.
I'd say
being angry without anger, we would have no progress, we would have no movement, we would have no change. Righteous anger is a healthy thing. Being angry about being alive at a time where a live streamed Holocaust is happening, and every day I speak to many people who are starving to death and they're asking me for money to help them, and I don't have enough money. And so come along to Ashburton Art Centre on Sunday night and spend loads of money and we'll feed Palestinian people. Yes, but...
And if you can't make it, give some money to Palestinian people.
Yes.
To just find someone.
Yeah. Go on Instagram or whatever and look for Palestinian people. They all have things, well not all, but many people have things like GoFundMes and chuffed.org and all of these like fundraising things, and they are collaborating with people in Europe who are using the accounts, and I don't know exactly how the economy now is working in Palestine. I guess people must be trading in digital currency only, but give money away to Palestinians. Don't go on your night out. There's a Holocaust happening. This is not normal. This is completely
we really should all be on strike from society.
normal.
Really,
Yes.
kind of thing. It's sort of like irresponsible. I know that's probably. I mean, in a sort of metaphorical way, that takes stock of what you can do to, say. Look at the system, see what's not working, make it work. I don't know, it seems pretty...
And there are times to say absolutely not, when a society has to say absolutely not.
But the thing is, it's like that thing that the Vicky said about, like, in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, both people involved are having a horrible time.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the best things I've ever heard anyone say, but it's true, isn't it? Like, all these people who are, like, sort of, sociopaths, like, that's not a healthy person, is it? Like, anyone who's getting, like, turned on by destruction, that's kind of a public health issue there. Like,
That's a massive
public health issue. And, like, any war is a public health issue. Like, a genocide is certainly a public health issue. And, like, all of this stuff is, like, is it not... It's a society with total collapse, all of this, and everybody's kind of going la 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 la, and then you've got all this kind of like, you said this and you said and people arresting people for holding a blank bit of paper and all that sort of stuff, and it's just kind of like nobody's enjoying this. Even the people at the top who are making all the really prohibitive rules are not having a good time. So why doesn't everyone just admit that, and then we need to do something? It was like. I don't know. I'm sort of not really. I just...
Could soothing classical music help? Do you think?
I don't know how it's gotten to this point. I really don't know. I'm kind of starting to think that
we know how.
Well, no, I know, but I'm starting to think that maybe in the future, like if there is one, like historians obviously like look back and then you summarise a bunch of events into this was this period, and that's not actually how reality works, is it? So I kind of think in the future, like people might just look on post-industrial revolution as all of it's one block that went wrong. And
the whole thing is the apocalypse.
You know, we're not exactly...
From the decision to burn stuff.
Yeah, from the decision but our entire society works by setting fire to a bin, and it's sort of like, isn't from the beginning of the great setting fire to a bin as the predominant social structure, isn't that kind of what we live in, is setting fire to a bin time, and this is all just one really terrible period of history? Because it's not like, what, so the First World War stopped, and then what, we were completely immune from the kind of fallout from that? No, it's been just constant, hasn't it? There's never been any peacetime.
No, I hate the idea of the inevitability of history. It was always going to happen like that. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. You know, there used to be dinosaurs.
Yeah. Like, anything is possible. And that's also why I still remain optimistic that,
me too.
Things.
It is a choice. People have to choose not to do this, and like that. Also, and I do kind of think that maybe a big thing about the billionaires and all that. I see lots of people.
There, the soundtrack to Eraserhead.
Like lots of people are sort of on the whatever, like this apparent left wing, right, sort of. They're all kind of, blame the billionaires entirely for everything. But I mean, we could also kind of, there's also some involvement with propping up these people's.
Yes, precisely.
Like, it's not. We don't have to use Facebook and Instagram. Like, he doesn't have to have all that money. Like, it's a. Oh no, but then just enough people stop using it, and then the guy isn't in the same position as before. I mean, it's rubbish. Like it's.
One thing that I've seen, a meme that I've seen, a meme that I've seen around, that is for everybody in this society. Apart from the billionaires, is really worth some thought, Mum and Dad. That you, Mum and Dad, are closer to the situation of the Palestinians than the situation of the billionaires. It's much easier to end up there. And if this can happen to the Palestinians, then who's to say, it couldn't happen to... who knows where. No, if this can happen, and the system which is enabling it and which is executing it is immune to anyone like stopping them, then the sky is the limit for maniacal bloodshed, isn't it? If there's no accountability for any of it, Then what is the future? What is this future? Post live streamed Holocaust and governments arresting people. This government arresting people for
having problem with it.
For having a soul, because how can you take claim to having a soul if you can be indifferent to the Holocaust? And I do keep calling it the Holocaust because you look at the images and tell me it's not. Just look at the images. And I'm not going to listen to any nonsense where it's not real, because guess what? And this is also for my mum and dad. This post-truth thing is nonsense. There is truth. Post-truth will never exist. The little pictures on your phone and the AI videos and conspiracy theorists and so on, they're not, it simply isn't the truth. And the truth is always so obvious. Like, you always know, usually, unless the person is an exceptional liar, you can tell when people are lying. Or, people don't have to be...
You can definitely tell when lots of people have been criticising you in a room together.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely tell that.
Behind your back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can tell that. But, I don't know. It's just that especially people who go around talking about positivity and stuff like that,
they tend to be...
Yes, but they think it is enough to say these words without actually enacting love. And if you are not enacting love, and there's nothing uncool about love. Love is cool as hell. How wonderful is it to be in love? It's wonderful to, love your kid. It's wonderful, the love that you feel if you're not a psychopath towards planet Earth. I am smitten with
the
love.
love that you feel when you look at a cute little animal.
Yeah.
And you're not the type of person who looks at it and then wants to, bludgeon it to death and sort of put it in a bag and then shove it down your throat.
Yeah. So, why not actually try being compassionate and empathetic and loving? Because love is cool and actually cool.
And if we didn't love each other, if there wasn't love, nobody would exist. Because nobody would have any desire to sort of have children and bring them up, care about them at all. All the animals that none of you believe have any will wouldn't exist because they wouldn't have had babies,
procreated,
and they wouldn't have fed their babies,
multiplied.
and beings that are also not humans but also think, and humans wouldn't be able to move through the world finding what they want to do, which is also so this whole thing of concentrating on everybody being as actively horrible to each other as possible is what's going to cause the end of civilization if it continues. Because yes, wars, yes, sort of evil dictatorships and governments and famine and climate change and just everything that is affecting us and everything, ultimately if people can't work together and get on with each other, then that is probably one of the biggest threats that we can have, isn't it? That if everybody hates each other, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
I don't mean in a sort of peace and love way, but I mean in a functional way. How are people supposed to form a cohesive society or and do anything if they all hate each other's guts? And everybody's guilty of this pretty much. I'm not. I don't hate anyone. I don't walk. Well, no, but I mean, I have contempt for people.
Yeah, contempt.
But I don't hate people.
It's a good word. It's a better word than hate.
Because hate is kind of I think it's a primal thing. It comes from sort of stuff that you can't really control. That's kind of Oedipal and to do with some weird Freudian.
Do you know what the French word for contempt is? I only know this because of the Godot movie. It's le mépris. Le mépris. Contempt. Yeah, I do have contempt for quite a lot of people.
I don't even hate the people who've completely ruined my life in many ways. I don't hate them. I just don't. It just makes me depressed that it has happened.
Oh, there must be someone I really hate. Oh, there is. There is. I'll tell you who I hate. I really hate this composer. Calls himself a composer called King Gong. Right? I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I've met him a few times. I saw him perform his field recordings from out of Mongolia with his Ableton Live remixes over the top.
Is it a duel?
In Cafe Auto.
Are you?
All right, and you know,
doing an Eric Satie here.
You know I'm getting ready for the Thriller in Manila.
Oh right, it's the Princess Diana.
And we're on the same label. We're both undiscrepant. But he goes around recording people in China and Mongolia and things like that. And they played this video of him. And the whole video was basically him pointing his Tascam at the people. It was, you know, it's very much like, it's unbelievably sort of anachronistic. But then, as well as being just a dreadfully rude man, not just to me but to many of my associates, this maybe because you've met the wonderful guy, haven't you? But the first time I saw him perform, you know that, right, sorry everyone, but laptop music performance is so boring.
It's awful.
Having a beard doesn't make it more interesting.
It's so boring.
You know, like the fine details of your beard
all
are
the people
not.
who watch it and everyone will.
They've all got beards as well.
They all hate each other as well.
And yeah, they all hate each other. They hate the
anymore.
music that they're
They hate
making.
Themselves.
As
They
well.
hate the music.
Yeah, they do.
They hate having to use Windows. They
Yeah,
hate
they
Windows
do.
Update.
They
They all
do.
hate Windows, but
Yeah.
no way they all use Macs, don't they?
I've seen some laptop guys using Windows.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But like, can you get Macs MSP?
They're the most
on
sort of
Windows, or
DIY.
Is it
I don't know. Can you get Max MSP
I
with
don't know.
Windows? I once got something from Max MSP.
Yeah, I mean, I went to sort of do that music degree, and they were talking about. I'll let you finish first because I'm derailing the story about the field recording.
Oh yeah.
I
So
think you should finish this up. If this is going to be,
this gig
if
with
this is going to be a duel, you should.
this gig with this guy I hate.
What are you calling him?
Oh, I hate him. I hate this guy. Right? You know how boring laptop music is to watch, right? And they're asking you to sit and watch them basically do nothing.
Oh god.
Well, this guy went one step further than that. Halfway through his set, he went outside and had a cigarette and just left it on. And stood outside the window just smoking a fag in the whole audience.
I've done that a few times.
And I turned to whoever I was...
It was probably me. We were standing with each other.
No, this was an earlier show, I think.
No, I remember it.
Oh,
I
you
was
were there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I turned to
There was
you.
another one. I think he was talking about his trousers again. There's a
Oh
whole,
yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, it's not just that.
But I turned to you and said, why should we
talk
stay in
about
here
trousers.
if he's not going to? Yeah, music journalists,
They
love to
really
talk about their
a
trousers.
lot, because I suppose it's because they're all into like vintage Levi and that, but I don't know. They talk about the trousers.
That John Duran from The Quietest.
We gotta go back.
I know so much about his trousers. I ain't even read the articles, but you know, I know what he wears. And I'm not sure what his taste in music is, but I know what he wears. Now, guys from the Wire magazine, I don't know what trousers they're wearing.
They don't wear any trousers.
When they're in the office, no trousers.
None of them
wear trousers in the office. Yeah, that's what it's like in the Wire magazine office.
It gets hot in that world of experimental music.
The world of experimental music is very, very, very hot.
Yeah.
You know that stuff like Merzbow and White House, all that, all that, what they call noise music, all that stuff. That happens. Yeah, people think that like that's made with computers and so on, but no, noise music is what emerges when you heat music to a particular temperature.
That's the thing. That's why, that's why Richard D. James had to get out of the game. He just couldn't deal with all the hotness.
Well, he couldn't.
With all the sexy, beard guys.
Yeah,
he couldn't
exactly.
handle it. He had to leave. It got too much for him.
Well, I have to admit. They were
all aiming it at him, and he just wanted to play with his modular synthesizers. He didn't want all this sex.
Well, no. Well, he shaved his beard off around that time.
Yeah,
didn't he?
and
cut his hair, shaved his beard off.
Probably why.
But I've sat in so many, I couldn't tell you. In my period as a travelling whatever I was, I've seen a lot of boring laptop music gigs.
Wow, you must have seen
so many,
much.
so many.
Being a woman is kind of good because they all think that because I haven't got this extra like appendage that means that you don't have a brain. So in a way, the sort of like blanket vacant stare of misogyny is quite good because you don't actually have to listen to them talking.
Oh, I see.
So it's good. You can just go, oh, sorry, I've got to go back in the kitchen, and then you can go outside and do something and make some more.
Well, you can go outside, have a cigarette with the guys.
But also, if you go, oh no, see what I used to do a lot of the time when I was talking to like these they'd be like, oh, you know, Lottie, you're so stupid because you haven't got the extra thing, you know, so lacking. And they'd be like, oh yeah, Gobbo, you got me, it's a fair cop, I'm just a stupid woman. And then I go in the next room and put on some headphones on the piano and proceed to play for coffee if they never know. It's good.
Oh, that's nice.
You can use misogyny to your advantage to remain invisible.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice to know. It's nice to find.
It's like when you look
invisible.
at the other one I worked out was like if you look on I don't use it anymore, but if you look on Snapchat and you're in a town, if you look at the bit where all the things are, you know where the most people are going to be, and you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good use of technology.
There's also like another thing.
But then you got to carry a thing around.
A phone, but
headphones.
on the slab. But another one, my father, you know, whenever the police are running towards something, just run in the opposite direction. And it's like, yep, I've done that many times. Like run away from the thing.
Yeah.
And it works.
We ran fast the other day. Oh, it was the bus, and then it turned out to be the wrong bus.
But I haven't run for ages, and I didn't die.
Because we just popped into Buckfastleigh for a little while, and then popped back out again, didn't you? Just popped by for a nice visit, and
to the plastic bin, because there isn't one here.
There is no plastic bin in Shipton Abbott.
But I'm working on it with co-op headquarters.
Yeah, you've been on the phone to. Haven't you been told that one of the like presidents, one of the kings of co-op is going to...
they're going to get a regional manager to phone them.
Wow.
Because if they don't sort out...
Like a duke or something.
If they don't sort out the plastic thing, I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the single-use plastic that I've had inflicted on me from the co-op, because they don't have plastic bin, and for some reason they make us have the single-use plastic. I suspect partly because they need to get rid of something and it's there to appease some sort of shareholder thing, and also if you put it in a little bag it makes it seem like more of a commodity, and then you can take away any kind of aspect of choice to people, because it can't be for hygiene purposes, because as we saw over the pandemic it's completely disgusting when it goes off immediately, so it's always full of like rotting food. It's completely unhygienic, and I don't see the purpose.
And then you have the whole thing where it's like the soft plastic, but the food is rotted in it, and then you're trying to wash the soft plastic, but bits of the leaves are stuck to it, and the plastic stinks, and you don't know, do I put this in there? Do I put this with the giant soft plastic collection?
There's so much of it, and if they don't sort out the plastic bin soon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of the plastic and I'm going to fashion it into a big 10-foot giant, what euphemistic thing am I allowed to say?
Phallus.
Phallus.
That's not even euphemistic, but just classical.
But then I'm going to fashion it into that, and then I'm going to deliver it to the head of co-op. And I'll keep doing that with the single-use plastic until they stop using it.
Yeah, then they might build up a lovely collection of them. Yeah, single-use plastic, fantastic. I keep trying to think of like inventive things we could do with it, like using it for a music video or something like that. But then I think, well, we'd have to touch it, and it's horrible.
The sound,
Yeah, it's a horrible sound. You could kind of lay it all out, and it could be like an ocean or something, and you could sort of pretend that you're at the beach, which is a good way of passing.
The only reason they don't
time
actually recycle it is because I've been ringing up recycling companies and plastic people in the council and blah 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 to try and figure this out. And the only reason that they don't collect it, apparently it gets caught in the machines a lot, but apparently one of the main reasons they don't collect it is because you can't really recycle it into a thing that can be sterile again, because it degrades slightly. So when they're recycling the plastic, they're injecting new plastic into it, because like into the single-use low-density poly whatever salad bags. But what if you don't need it to be sterile? Why don't they just recycle it into something else, like a chair or something? Like, you don't need the chair to be sterile. It's got a bit of stuff
I like
in
a sterile chair.
No, but I mean, you don't need to eat off the chair. Like, they're all talking about food grade stuff. Why don't they just recycle it into, I don't know, sell? There's got to be a better way. It's just, oh god, the same fire to a bin. That's all it is. The same fire to a bin.
Yeah. When people deny, like people going, I don't think it's all climate change. Well, it's like, if you, I think I've said this on the air before, but if you have a room, like the Earth is in an atmosphere, and you burn loads of smoke in that room, you're going to start coughing. And it's as simple as that, isn't it?
I just also don't understand, even if it wasn't going to kill us all and destroy absolutely everything, why do people want to live like this? Like, sort out the problem now to make it less horrible. Like when we were living in Bristol, the amount of fly tipping is just insane. And it's horrible. It looks apocalyptic.
But I will add that the fly tipping in Bristol, which is done, is clearly and obviously not committed by poor people, because poor people would not have these giant flat screen TVs. If you walked along Spike Island and looked across to the other side of the river, there were just giant flat screen TVs dotted about in the bushes.
Chucking up is upgrading the television.
Yeah.
Now, what is it that is so important? I just don't understand what it like. Why do people?
I think it's keeping up with the Joneses. People want to tell their neighbours.
But like, what are they watching that they need to be in 4K so they can see everyone's
that's not the point.
Like,
it's just
point?
to.
I don't understand. It looks awful anyway.
Yeah, it's just to tell their neighbours and friends that they've got the expensive television. We live in like increasingly, like my removal.
It's a projector anyway.
It's much better to have a projector. Increasingly, my removal from culture, like, and realising the extent to which everybody, I would say, except like a very small amount of people, the intelligent, witty, elegant, compassionate, empathetic.
And of course, we can only speak on behalf of living in this particular country, because I'm not entirely convinced it's exactly the same.
Absolutely not. No, there are definitely. There are definitely, aren't they, sort of irrefutably national characteristics, to places, and famously the English national characteristic is passive aggression and indirect communication.
Queuing.
And us weird autistic ones, we don't do indirect communication.
No.
And it's not that we don't understand it, it's just like, why do it? Isn't it better to just say what you...
What's the point? Like, if you're one of these people that like is constantly just lying about everything that you think, what is the purpose of that? What does it gain you?
It's the status thing. People are trying to grasp on to a little bit of status. You can imagine people sniggering, can't you?
Yeah, they do.
To themselves, because I got that little bit of status. Guess what? That little bit of status, you still suck.
You're still gonna die.
Yeah, but you suck. Like, we're all gonna die, but we can die and not suck first, huh?
Yeah, see, I kind of think that the whole thing of like, I don't know, the whole concept of like, in a lot of religion about hell and stuff, and it's always like, don't go to hell, so do things to avoid going to hell, and it's always like, and that I'm not sure whether it's still the case, but it used to be kind of like bedrock of the culture that I noticed a lot of people thought in these kind of terms. And then there was that quite interesting thing where you did when we ran in the other radio station, you did a radio show with your daughter Autumn, and she had been brought up without a religious kind of underpinning in society. And
you mean a Halloween?
Yeah, a Halloween thing. And you were talking about how religion scares you, but she was sort of like, like she just had no, not in the way of like, I would say she's what you would call a true atheist. In the, I mean, I don't know, I'm not speaking on behalf of like, but whatever.
I'm trying to encourage them to walk God.
But like that, but the thing of not having the capsule for the, as in your thinking isn't defined by this idea of like hell and God and blah and all this higher thing necessarily. But then someone like me, I went through sort of C of E and all that kind of thing.
C of evil.
And my thinking is very much. My thinking is very much kind of like shaped by this sort of like traditional theology stuff. Like that's the capsule for it. So like you've got the imprint of the religion, I guess. What was the point I was trying to make? Oh yeah, the whole thing of so the whole talking about like kind of the future of like don't go to hell, do things to stop that. And people see religion predominantly as like a control thing, but why don't people think about it more in terms of like, why do you want to create hell on earth now? Why don't you try and create not hell on earth, and then your existence will also be not in hell? So like, I don't.
The possibility of a beautiful world
the point,
is so much ingrained.
On earth.
You could still
we had the garden.
Yeah, but you could still have this kind of industrial stuff going on. You could still have production going on. Just have it all powered. Well, apparently 70% of this country is wind powered now. Have everything powered by renewables.
And covered in plants.
But that is the main thing
like,
that I think is that the cityscape. Every cityscape. There is no reason for every single building not to be covered in creeping, crawling plants and fruits, and then every single tower block would be covered in bees and butterflies, and we can create an absolutely astonishing world, but it requires cooperation. And that is what everyone seems unwilling to do. And if people are unwilling to talk directly to one another, then cooperation really is an absolute impossibility.
And everything is not as simple as people make it out, as in people fall into particular political camps. And you have a lot. I mean, obviously they do a lot of the time, but there's it can't just be that we're all like in these particular demographics. If you're in this sort of party bracket, you're in this one and stuff, because I think most people aren't really thinking about it for a start in this country, and they're kind of I don't know, I think you can probably get to more people than we're led to believe, because most people want the same things, don't they?
Yes.
Most people want to be able to make enough money to eat, to feed their kids, and want to like do some fun things when they have time off.
Yeah. But that goes back to something.
So surely that's something that everyone can work on. As like, no one's having a good time. Let's work on like that commonality that we've got. That everybody hates their life.
But that goes back to what you were saying earlier on about how everyone has become, is choosing to behave in this repellent way. Not everyone, but many, many people in this country.
And then the people who aren't choosing are going, what is going on?
People are choosing to behave in this repellent way. I can't remember what my point was, but basically my point is that it's totally realisable to have a brilliant world, to realise that maybe we took a bit of a wrong turn there with the combustion engine. And, as human beings, we all have the potential to create beautiful things, useful things, and we all have the potential for empathy. And this is also maybe something we should talk about on the air, that there's this idea that autistic people do not have empathy, and this is just not true at all.
No.
It turns out that the conception of empathy is actually supposed to be this process by which a person recognises a person is suffering, says to themselves, oh, that would be bad if it was happening to me, and then feels bad about it. When an autistic person, and I can say this not just as myself, but I've talked about this with every autistic person that I know, when an autistic person sees someone get hurt, fall over, whatever, you get severe physical pain yourself. It crawls up my back. It makes my... if I see someone fall over, it makes my teeth hurt.
Yeah, I read a really sort of like, I guess, like really kind of dehumanising little study about us the other day, which, not us individually, but us as autistics.
There was a dehumanising little study about us in the Y magazine.
Well, there's been many on us, personally as well, but this one was sort of saying, oh yes, well that's because autistic people have an ability to mirror people's body language sometimes, but they're not actually thinking.
Interesting.
Apparently we're still wrong. It's that thing as well as another thing about autism that I'll say is like when I went for my assessment, I was talking to the woman. I didn't know I was autistic then, obviously, although I suspected. But and I was talking to the woman who was doing the assessment, and she was saying, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a musician." She said, "Oh, I used to play the cello." And I was like, "Oh, right, cool. What did you play?" And then she said, "Oh, I played Shostakovich." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I really like Shostakovich." Blah blah blah. And we spoke for a couple of minutes, maybe. And then in the report, it was talking about how I was really boring and going on and on about it. It was a little bit uncomfortable and stuff like that. And the woman, because I was saying that I practiced the piano for up to like 10 hours sometimes a day, depending on whatever, but most of the time was getting a good sort of 4 hours in, she characterised me as having really boring kind of fixated interests and stuff. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but talk to any musician who's good, who like, it's normal to... I can't even say it. It's so stupid. You're supposed to practice.
Well, you know, all those great...
Oh yeah, no, they were doing 20 minutes a day.
All those great painters and novelists
they just
poets
did it in their
musicians.
downtime. And so this woman characterised me as... Well, the thing is, this woman characterised me as being really boring and having like fixated interests and stuff because she didn't understand the thing of what it's like to be a musician, basically. And so
Or
she was
to
saying,
have interest.
Or to have interest. And the thing is, like, you know,
If you have no interest, get in touch.
Get in touch. You can have some of mine, and then I've got lots. But then, so she was saying this, and in the write-up,
You might want to think about
in
that.
the report, it was all about how I'm really weird and all this other stuff. But it's basically the thing that happens if you're autistic is if you're into something and you're good at something, you get pathologized. So it's never because you're good at it or you're into it. It's because it's like, oh, they're weird.
Yeah.
So you know, I expect so even things like I saw Harrison Birtwistle doing a talk, and a lot of the people in the audience were, because he's like a nice, he's dead now, but he was a very nice sort of kindly man, and like quite obviously very very smart and intense, but he was quite kind of funny and sort of like not massively loud. I mean, I didn't know him personally, but when I saw him talking, he was quite...
Do you know what I think?
And then all the people in the audience were going, "Aww," and so it was all this like kind of belittling him because he was smart, and people going, "Oh, that's so sweet," and it's all these people, and they always take your interests and they belittle them, or they take your talents and belittle them to like, "Oh, it's because they're a weird eccentric. Oh, you're so kooky." Women get the thing of being called quirky and kooky, and then men get, I don't know, what do you get?
Called a weirdo and shouted at.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that as well. I mean, I get weirdo and shouted at, but you know, when people are going, oh, and they're doing a sort of manic pixie thing, what's the equivalent for men? I'm not sure of like the word. For women, it's quirky.
It's complicated for me because I am sort of a manic pixie dream girl.
You do get kind of manic pixie a bit.
I do, yeah.
I don't anymore, weirdly.
No, but I don't anymore. But that is the solution. This is
unwarranted and quite.
This is official advice for all autistic people here. And going back to the Artaud thing about Van Gogh, and how to avoid this happening to you. Well, autistic person, you know, when you look in the mirror, you got those eyes in you. You got intense eyes because there's a lot of thoughts going on behind it. My advice to you, to help you get through society and all your interpersonal relationships with people who just have zero understanding of you whatsoever, is to be as intimidating as possible. Use those eyes, jut your chin up a little bit.
Really, like the whole.
And be proud of how brilliant you are.
Well, the whole autistic people not making eye contact thing. I mean, I don't like making eye contact because it's.
But like you pointed out, in nature, eye contact is a predatory.
It's a predatory thing. Yeah. And I read something about primate behaviour the other day, which is that apparently when there's a sort of dominance thing and one of them comes out on top, all of the other primates will bow down and bare their teeth and grin. So maybe that's why people are like, why aren't you smiling? And I kind of think that maybe the eye contact thing is like when you go into a situation, there's a kind of unspoken sort of status rearranging thing of like primal behaviour where people like stare at each other and everything, and if you refuse to engage in the eye contact thing, people get really, really funny about it. I've had men come up to me and grab my face and push my head to make eye contact with them before. That's happened on numerous occasions of people grabbing my face to force my face up and everything, and it really, really rattles people if you don't make eye contact. So my thought there is, none of your business.
Yeah, dark glasses are good too. A good friend of mine.
Why should I?
I'm 45 now, and I'm like, well, I've only got the one life. I hate my eyes being exposed when I'm out, and also I have some neurological problems which make things like strip lights a little bit shifty. So I tend to wear my sunglasses outside now, but it has the wonderful byproduct of, well, I was going to say, this very, very good friend of mine, his daughter is convinced that I'm a vampire, which is great, and I've always wanted to be a vampire. And on that note, seeing as we have not so long left, I feel like we need to tell the listeners about our movie.
Oh, I mean, are we going to have to sign like NDAs eventually?
Well, I mean...
Oh no, we should talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the funding pitch.
Yeah, this is the funding pitch. So we want to, like, basically...
So it is a movie called Vamps.
Yeah.
Vamps.
Right.
And the cast is, for the most part, the famous television vampires David Boreanaz, Little David, which is Robert Pattinson from Twilight, and Spoik, who is from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the spin-off series Angel, played by James Masters. And it is a film about just these three vampire guys.
And then it'll have a special guest towards
the end.
Which we probably can't.
No, we can reveal. This is the funding bit.
No one's really going to listen to this.
No, it's the funding bit. Yeah, not the BFI. They ain't going to be tuned in, so that's fine. We can speculate. We can speculate. It's set in Florence, and it just so happens that Little David, Big David, and Spoik have all by coincidence gone on holiday to Florence, and it's a buddy movie about these three vampire guys just getting enraptured by Florence, by the art in Florence, by the architecture, by the religion, and there's lots of running jokes about, I thought you guys wouldn't be able to come into a place like this, and then playing b-ball outside Santa Croce where Galileo and Michelangelo and all of them, and then towards the final act of the movie there's a knock on the door in the hotel room. Who's there?
Other than Nicolas Cage himself
from Vampire's Kiss. And he goes,
"Hey guys!" So this film needs to be made.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
I think it'll make the world a better place.
Yeah, but then they have like a 10-minute montage sequence just going wild out in Florence with Nicolas Cage splashing in the fountains, like splashing about.
They'd have a great time.
Yeah, they'd have wonderful time.
Yeah, but they would also have a really great time.
They would.
So they should make it. So if you're listening,
David Boreanaz, James Masters, or Little David, Robert
aka Little David,
or Nicolas Cage. If you're tuned in,
get in touch with us.
And come and make this movie with us in Florence. You'd have a lovely time in Florence. I can tell you about
all of my genuinely my paranormal.
Yeah, exactly. And just coming to do this will be if you just get in touch with us, because ideally, I don't want to do this through through film funding and stuff. Yeah, because you have to come up with it beforehand.
It's got to be joyous.
Yeah, I want to just go to Florence with a camera, David Boreanaz, Spoik, and Little David, and I want to just discover the movie.
Kind of be like a dogma film, but without the rule about not having any famous people in it.
Yeah, and definitely there's going to be some non-diegetic music going on in that.
But we could always get someone to play it, like get a trumpet player or something to walk around. I mean, they did that in Back to Sinister 2, where they were recording all the horrible films with all the deaths, and they were also playing drone music at the same time.
On 78?
On 78. But the thing I didn't understand is who was cutting the drone music?
Yes.
Was it the Gene Simmons guy? Or was it the children?
Well, given his professional experience...
He was doing drone.
Gene Simmons was doing the drone and cutting the records. But then he's going to have to get a lathe cutter that can cut at 78. I've never seen one.
Means they had the gramophone while they were doing the murder, but then they were having to play the gramophone record again when they were watching the video. So, why did they play it in the thing? Was it just for ambience? But then where did the record come from?
Yeah, but plus they're using the same machine to cut the record and play back the record. How does that work? One would be a receiver, one would be an emitter.
I've been talking to a lathe cut guy recently, so maybe I'll ask him.
Ask him if he's seen Sinister 2.
Sinister 2.
Sinister 2. With evil Gene Simmons in the bottom of the bathtub and
some other people.
Yeah, some of the...
One looks like...
people.
The boy out of the Omen 2. Good for him.
Does he look like the boy out of Omen 2?
Yeah,
Can I tell you something?
There's an Omen 2 boy.
I'll tell you something about the boy out of Omen 2. He's one of my favourite little boys. He's an excellent little boy, isn't he? Honestly. I mean,
the Omen 2.
Honestly, my
father's listening and he hates the Omen. He's ashamed of me for liking the Omen. But it's not just the Omen.
I bet Roger...
It's the Omen 2. I bet he hasn't even seen... I bet you haven't even seen the Omen 2.
And I bet you, Roger, if you did... 4. I bet you, Roger, if you did see the Omen 2, you'd agree with me that he's a good little boy.
Yeah, and you'd also... would also want to go and watch the Omen 3 with Sam Neill.
Yeah. The little boy grows up to be Samuel Neill. Now, isn't that exciting? That's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. Reject the nonsense, kids. This has been Sound Out Radio with me, Dr. Ergo Phizmiz.
Depressival.
And yes, concert for Palestine, Sunday night, Ashburton Arts Centre. Book tickets online. Capacity, I guess, is limited. Come to it. Thank you. Don't accept terrible nonsense from anyone or any institution. I love you all. I kiss you with erotic splendour of one.